Ready?
Yeah.
Ready. Welcome back to the runs with me, Gareth, and my mate Nicky. All right, Nick?
Yes, Scott. How's things?
I'm all right. How are you? Okay?
Not bad. Wet again from my run this evening.
Yeah.
As standard. This last seems like months.
How far do you go?
8 miles done an hour. Harvey come with me for a few. He peeled off because you can't get the boys out when it's wet. You know the usual suspects.
Scott Gray is made of sugar, apparently. Never know.
That's one. I think Steve always made of chocolate.
Yeah, the chocolate and the sugar boys.
Yeah. Treadmill.
Oh, couldn't think of anything worse. Like, mind you, I've been useless.
I'd rather go out and get drenched.
I know, me too. I have programmed myself, like, I am awake at 5 o'clock in the morning now. I've programmed myself to go to bed early and wake up. Now I've just got to get out of bed and go running at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's just laying there for an hour. Just go out and do it.
Yeah, but
prep your stuff the night before.
I know, I did the other day. But we'll get there now.
Yes, keep plugging out. Keep plugging at it.
You got a race next weekend, haven't you?
This weekend I am doing Cardiff 20 or Cardiff Running Events 20 with Ali Dews, so that'll be a fun 20 miles alongside him. He'll keep me entertained anyway, won't he?
Yeah. We're
both using it as training runs, because obviously he's doing LA Marathon in a month, and obviously I'm just using it as a long run, training run for London.
Yeah, he's doing LA, isn't he?
He is.
Excellent. Right. It's been a busy week in the running world. We're going to zip through a couple of bits and bobs and then get our guest in. First up, cheating.
Ooh. We on about Mokatir?
Yeah. What's been going on with that?
Yeah. Well, he hasn't technically been found or tested positive, but he has missed 3 tests. So his whereabouts were unknown. So what does that smell to you?
Smells like Rio Ferdinand all over again.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know they were coming.
Oh, bloody hell. Has he been... You know more than me about all these runners and stuff. Has it been worth him cheating? Is he doing stuff, or is he...
Yeah, well, I've obviously he sort of burst on the scene a couple of years ago with real good performances from nowhere.
Yeah.
And like his progress has been quite a big jump. Now you could say that's down to hard work and everything, and I think he comes silver in the Europeans behind Jakob last year. But yeah, he's had a big... Well, I don't know everything about him his years, but for the last, I'd say 2 or 3 years, he sort of seems like come from nowhere and appeared on the scene challenging. And so yeah, who knows? And it obviously goes on, as we know, with the old Salazar and everything, that program that went on, and just not appearing for 3 tests on when you wear games for sure.
You still got a couple of hard work with it as well. You can't sit down eating bags of popcorn and smashing it down you and then rock up with the peds and stuff.
Yeah.
But so I guess we'll find out soon. But
yeah, I don't know what happened now. He'll be suspended, and then I don't know whether he'll get a ban. He'll be like, I don't know how it works now with that. But he's in shit.
Yeah, big shit. Right. Yeah. And the Kiptum tragedy that rocked Instagram and the athletics world as well. Again, I didn't know much about him until he popped up on my screen, and I had to ask you a bit more about him. But that's big bad, isn't it?
Real huge news, that, because obviously, again, he just recently broke the marathon world record in Chicago at the end of last year with a 2:35. Only his 3rd marathon, I think it was. And if we look at his progress from like marathon to marathon, he was just getting quicker and better. Only 24. The tragedy is obviously it's a huge loss of human life, but like his athletics career, it was just like, what was he going to do?
Yeah,
like,
it was exactly. Because 24 is young, come out for a marathon runner.
Really young. Like most of them will stick to smaller stuff until later years, then go to marathon because they've still got that in them later in life. Like look at Kipchoge. Kipchoge, I think, is 40 this year.
Yeah.
He was a track athlete at first.
Bloody hell.
1500, 5K and things. So yeah, like I think he would have, if not this year, possibly soon, he would have broke the 2 hours So yeah, like real bad tragedy, and obviously a car accident, like hit a tree, similar to what happened to Steve Prefontaine back in the 70s.
Bloody hell, innit?
Yeah, so it's sad loss.
While we're in Africa, what is going on with that crazy bastard, Russ Cook, hardest geezer? Business end now? Has he burst into a ball of flames yet under the Sahara sun?
Not yet. He's been churning it out this week. He's at the day 300 of running. I looked at his update earlier. He's banged out like a week of 60 and 50Ks non-stop, like in the Sahara, in Mauritania.
He looks a lot happier now than he did like before he was.
Obviously, I think he can now. All his future visas are sorted, as we discussed last time. He's got his route planned. He shouldn't have any issues. And I think he's on a charge now to get to that beach. I think he's saying 50-odd days left. What have I got written down? Yeah, 50-odd, 52 days to go.
Bloody hell.
So he's proper on going for it now. Imagine that now, like, and he's been out there over a year, whatever he's been, running for 300 days. You can see that end in sight now.
If it was 5 years later and this was an established podcast making millions from sponsors, we could have flown out there and finished with it, couldn't we? But
yeah,
we'll have to join him next time. 5 years when he's running around the ring on Saturn or something.
Yeah, he'll no doubt come up with some other crazy challenge now and have to try and get along with it.
Big changes to Parkrun as well. It's rocked the boat and upset people this week. So, I only read headlines, you know, by me by now. They've taken results off the website?
No results. They've removed all records. So, course records, fastest man, fastest woman, age grade results, everything. So, there is no actual course statistics, if you like, now. Just week-to-week results.
So you just have to take someone's word for it if they say, "Oh, I've got the Mystic Park record."
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I don't understand why they've done. I don't get why they've done it. I think they've said it's to not disencourage the slower athletes and things. But parkrun is all about nobody cares anyway. The only person that cares about your time is you, innit? But obviously the park walk was an initiative brought in alongside parkrun, so I don't get the thinking behind it. Now there's a lot of other rumours and things going around that they've done it because of the transgender issue with people taking records.
Is it?
By saying that way, but that's just one rumour or one headline I seen. But I think their official thing was because of the inclusivity and trying to make it not daunting for people. But I don't get it. Like, you still turn up if you're an hour runner. There's still going to be people there. Minutes, and it's irrelevant anyway, you know. Like you say, the only person that cares is yourself.
Yeah, you're not going to rock up and go on a 25-minute when I go, "Oh my God, Nicky Player's here." I am not being embarrassed in front of him.
I'm not running you're not going to look at that website first and go, "Oh my God, the record's this." I mean, I think that was a good thing for the quicker runner, and even pros do it because
they go round, didn't they? They go round, collect it, try and.
Yeah, like Andy Butcher broke the record and took the fastest parkrun this year. You know, he's run the Olympics and things, and you know, for him to turn up and thinking, "Oh, well, I'm going to go and do that," and I want to take the record now. It encourages that end of the scale.
Take Butcher's record, yeah, definitely.
So I don't get it.
Don't know. I thought it was
Parkrun as well started as it was a 5K time trial in Bushy Park back in 2000 or 2001 between a small little group, you know. So that's what it was for years, a time trial. I know it's evolved and got bigger and better, but yeah, it seems weird.
I thought it might have just been, like I said earlier, like a storage issue or like expensive. It's a lot of data to put somewhere as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wish it was.
Yeah, week to week.
And medals for grown-ups. It's a bit of bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Because that's because obviously week to week is still, everyone's result is still going to be there. And I assume you can look at last week, the week before, whatever, I'm assuming that'll still be there. I haven't looked hugely into it, just obviously, again, when it came out and boys putting it in the social groups and the running groups, read a bit about it, but not really fully into it.
That's weird. Dry ropes. They have been, Goldie Look and Jane have put them on the map, haven't they? Well, we knew about them. Goldie Look and Jane have shown a light on them.
Because, like, it just, are they a court, like?
What are they?
Well, I thought they were like, mainly I thought the main thing was when you come up to the sea and shook them on to keep warm for that little 5-10 minutes to trek back to the car, but like they just seem to have become a coat, a general everyday coat.
I'm alright with it, I am.
I find it a bit weird to look at because they're a weird looking thing. They're not really a coat, they're really long and flappy and they just look weird. They don't look like a coat.
They're like just the Arsene Wenger coat, isn't they?
No, that was
But
ridiculous.
they're without the bubble, really. But
Without the bubbles, yeah.
it's an expensive bit of kit to be wearing down to do the show. Like,
I would say like, well, but then I suppose if you've got one and you've bought it for the reasons we think or they were brought out, then it's expensive. Use it as a coat, isn't it?
but there's not that
They just
many.
need everywhere.
There's not that many coal dippers compared to how many dry road
People are wandering around.
But
Yeah,
again, you've
strolling
got,
around lately.
It's the same with everything at the moment, off of the running topic. Well, not on the running topic as well, really, because you can get so much. I don't know what it is, replicas, fakes, whatever it is now. You can pick them up on Facebook groups, and you can get direct from China. So perhaps they are paying a fraction of what they cost as well for them.
Yeah,
But
possibly.
I don't know. I would wear one, but I don't know. But then if I've got one, yeah, I probably would wear one all the time then as well. Like,
Yeah, casual.
yeah, but. Some of them probably wankers and some of them not wankers, isn't it? Don't coat the driver to make a wanker.
That's just standard in life anyway.
Exactly. Right, we have got a pretty good guest on this week. I'm just going to see if he's ready. So we'll take a break and get him in, is it?
Yeah, let's get on with it. Welcome back to part 2 of episode 8 of the runs, and this week we've got Jake Smith with us. Jake is a Nike Chorus and Team NN running. Is it a Team NN? It is, isn't it, Jake?
Yeah, I think, it's NN running or Team NN.
running athlete. Yeah. Winner of the big half, 60-minute half, a 2:11 marathon wild pacing for fun. 28-minute 10K, so all round pretty good range.
Yes. Yeah, so hoping to make some of those PBs a bit quicker. So that 60-minute half is my dream goal. But guess I have to put some work in now to get to that level.
Yeah, is that the main focus then, the half, do you think?
I've spoken to my coach, like, I've had a few disrupted, like the last year was disrupted massively, but the year before, we kind of focused on, instead of stepping out to marathon, getting the speed going in my legs, because I've never been very quick. So if it came down to a last sprint, I remember I raced Jack Rowe in a 5K and he put 7 seconds on me on one lap, in the last lap. So I need to like pick that up, and I've said to people, I don't want to be just another number at like a major marathon. I want to be there to compete, and in order to compete, like you have to go with these Africans who can throw in like a 420 mile, 430 mile, just in the middle of a marathon. So that's what I'm being focused on. And this year or next year, I really want to break 4 minutes for the mile. I think that would be amazing, really, for like a marathon-specific athlete to have that, like, to be able to break 4 minutes. It would be incredible.
That's mad. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's crazy. Like say, to be competing at the front end now, some of the times that's getting chucked in, it's mad, and it must be so hard.
You just can't believe it. And then even when you write it down on paper, you're just looking at these times, you're like, how the hell are they doing it? But it's one of those as well. It's like, of course, there's exceptional athletes, but you can not get to their level. But even when you write down, I don't know if you two get it, but when you write down in a session the paces you have to hit, and you're kind of scared, and then 2 weeks later you look back at these paces, and because you've hit it, you're like, oh, they weren't too bad. So it's like almost building yourself up for them.
Exactly. Yeah, it's great. So going back to, like you mentioned there, but the last year had been tough. Obviously, you had injuries and a lot of time off and a lot of cross training and things. We've seen, obviously, I follow you on Strava and Insta and things. So how was that, and how did you stay motivated through that time?
It was tough. When at the back end of 2022, I picked up my stress fracture in my foot, and I had a week off, and I was in great shape. I came third at the big half to Jack Rowe, Mo Farah, but it got quite tactical, and I was like, okay, now I can actually race. I picked up the injury and I only gave myself a week off. And people knew I've never been big or anything, but people were like looking at me and my mates and stuff, and they were getting a bit nervous for me because they could see like during an injury, when you're injured, now I can say this because I've been injured, but you should be putting on weight. You should be putting on the muscle, not the muscle, but you should be putting on weight because you're not running as much in order for that muscle to heal almost, or that bone to heal. And I felt as though I was in a really bad position with my food, with everything, that I thought training was the only thing I basically sort of like woke up to and made my day. Like I didn't want to do anything else. I just wanted to train. And I fell into like a really negative pattern almost of literally, for example, if I didn't get to the gym at 8 a.m, I'd be annoyed with myself. If I got there at 8:05, again, be annoyed for myself. And I was like, what am I doing? I don't need to work. I could go in at 10 a.m. It does not matter. And I fell into a really bad habit. And it actually took my foot. It should only take about, say, like 10 to 12 weeks to heal. It took almost 16 weeks to heal because I wasn't giving my body enough time to heal. I wasn't allowing myself enough time to fuel or anything. So I knew something bad was going to happen because I was training like crazy. I've never trained that many hours in the gym, like on the elliptical and everything. And I knew something was bad to happen because as soon as I came back to the running, I was in really good shape, and I was like, this shouldn't be happening. And then in February, I got this pain in my back. Didn't think much of it. I saw a few physios, and they kept telling me different things. Got an MRI on it, and I say I hit rock bottom that day. Like, of course, people might having 2 stretch fractures compared to a lot of people in this world is completely like just a laughing matter. Like, it's not that bad, but for my sort of running career, it was quite a bad state. So I say I hit rock bottom because I was in the middle of Manchester, which is miles away from where my parents live in Seaton, Devon, and I didn't have my car on me. I was given 2 crutches again, and I had to take like a 6-7 hour train journey back down. So it was quite. And I actually, as soon as the doctor told me, I just could not stop crying, like in front of him, and I kept I was like, I'm so sorry for crying. He's like, no, Jay, it's absolutely fine. But I say to people, that's when I hit rock bottom, and that was tough.
Yeah, that must be like, say, when it's your profession and like knowing like I can't do what I do every day. Like, we just casual as, and like I hate it when I have little niggles and can't get out. Always like, no, it is this like I love running and just going out and running. So for yourself, when it's like your job as well, as you obviously love it as well, otherwise you wouldn't do it because it's such a tough sport, and it's lonely, it's a slog, it's not really that rewarding money wise when you compare it to other sports and things. So that must have been so tough on you.
Yeah, it was tough, and like the first week I just did not want to run. Like I was like almost looking at I was like to my girlfriend, okay, when's the next Tesco shift? Like I don't have many qualifications. What am I gonna do? And but then it kind of like, it's one of those, like, as runners, like, the next day, like, all I wanted to do was basically go out, get pissed with my mate, like, with some friends. And I kind of, like, it was actually quite good, but those 5 weeks I had off were probably some of the best weeks off I've ever had. Because I saw friends I hadn't seen, I saw mates I hadn't seen, I went out to loads of football games with my dad, did everything a runner wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And that made up for it. That really made up for it. But like, it was tough the first week, but I didn't want to do it. I remember I couldn't walk more than 5 minutes without being in pain. And in the back, the sacrum area, you lie down, it hurts. Like, whatever you do, it hurts. Whereas with the foot, you can put your foot up and it's okay. But that's the most pain I've ever been in. That was horrible. And it took a long time. And I took 5 weeks completely off, no training whatsoever, just going for a walk. I did some coaching with the local run club, so I did Spanish lessons, try to keep my head in like absolutely anything I could do. So I did everything outside of running, and it was honestly like, it was incredible. And like, I kind of look back on it, I'm like, I kind of really enjoyed it because it made me look at like. It made me think like running's like, I know running is my job and stuff, but it is like, I used to see running as like the whole thing, like my whole world and stuff, and it's not. It's literally the smallest bit of my life. And and it just makes you think about like everything a bit more wider about everyone works differently, and it was a really big stepping stone. I keep saying to people like I'm actually really glad it happened to me, because I think if that hadn't happened to me, my body was just going in an even worse state, worse mind, even my mental health, because I have a psychologist now. I've had it for the last year, and it's been like, I would suggest that to people struggling, like best thing I've ever done. And it's I think if I kept going, I would be in the worst, like if for another 2 years or something, my body was just like, you should have seen the blood levels, you should have seen the bone health. It was like, it was laughable almost. So yeah, it was quite a journey.
Excellent. When did you start? So, where does running start for you, and Jake? Where did it come from? Cross country in school, or
Because I grew up in Hong Kong, so
okay.
I played all the sports in Hong Kong, so football, rugby, hockey. I absolutely loved them, and I took running like a little bit seriously. And I remember the day like it clicked. I was like, okay, running's my
Yeah.
thing. Is when I came to England, and the school they were giving out like little scholarships, but they didn't take into consideration running. So I stand up. I'm like, okay, I play a bit of rugby, but I didn't really think about the difference in size between, like, no offense to them, but Asian people and English
Yeah,
boys.
you
So
say
like at 16
it's
year
small
olds,
for rugby.
I'm quite big against some of them. And then when I came to England and I saw the size of these guys, I was like, I think I lasted 5 minutes. I was like, rugby's done for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll not play ever again. And
Like the John
so
Alamo of
yeah,
Hong
so
Kong.
yeah. So it's like I literally, I was like, what the hell is like, I was quite good at rugby in Hong Kong, and then I come here, I'm like, no. So yeah, so that was like okay, it's clicking. But I was never very good when I was young. Like, my best place at English schools was 50th, the year Alex Yee won, actually, at English Schools Cross. So I was 49 places behind him, and then I was 30 seconds off getting to the track, English Schools track, for the 3K. So because I was just focused on other sports, and I think that's where I built on my aerobic system. I was such a weird child, but like, when we're playing football, if the ball goes out of bounds, I'd be the one chasing it, thinking, okay, I'm getting fitter from doing this. So yeah, so right, 16, 17 is when I like properly was like, okay, let's push for this.
It's moved quite fast, you, haven't it?
Yeah, it did. It did help going to that school and trying to play rugby. And I did when I was 17, 18. I played football down in Seaton. They're in the East Devon 7th League, and it gets to a point where, like, there was a game where the police had to get involved, and it's one of those games you don't care about this game. You're just going out with your mates.
Yeah.
But it's like my parents have gone to watch, and they come to just laugh. It's the worst possible standard. Like the 7th League, the East Devon League. I don't know anyone who's played worse than that, really.
Like a local league.
I probably
It was
played to a
terrible.
standard. And my best. Excellent. Right. What have we got? 60-minute half at the Europeans.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It was at World's Half in 2020. So I was very, very lucky because 2020 was COVID year, and that was one of the only events on, and I made myself like crazy fit. Like, I loved COVID, like the fact there were no cars on the roads, the sun was like, the weather was incredible, and I got so fit, like so fit, and I wasn't even running twice a day. That's where the cross training came in more, because I try to follow the rules as much as I could, like, once out a day. I didn't want to be like take the piss with it almost. So I like did a lot of cross training, got a bike, got a cross trainer in the house. And I just used that COVID period to get so fit. And then I went to World Half, ran 60-30. And it was one of those, whenever I go into a race, I'm never not going to go with the leaders. So I just went with it, and it paid off, really.
I love that attitude. It's brilliant. Yeah. That's what we're there for, then
Exactly.
That's like, what's the worst of
Exactly. And it was a perfect. It was funny because the day before there was a massive storm. So, sometimes after a storm, the next day is just like, it was like, you could not ask for any better conditions. And the course suited me so well because where my parents live, it's so hilly on the East Devon coast. And on every lap it was like 4 laps, 3 laps, but the first half was a very slight gradient up, and then it was like 2.5 miles just downhill. So it's like you have to work up, yeah, but you get that massive downhill to get going. So it was like the perfect course, the perfect day to run quick.
Brilliant.
Let me have a look. On the marathon pacing as well, was 2:11 marathon pacing. These numbers scare me.
That was a day that I keep saying to people is like, you must have a race or a session where it feels like you're just running on air. Like you could just keep going for hours, and like I was supposed to just pace the 15 miles. So me and Phil Sessman were pacing this Australian and Kiwi boy. They're Reece Edwards, I think. I think he's going for the Olympics this year, and it was in Cheshire. It was back in the time, you know, when I keep saying to people, you know, when like England, when they opened the pub, so all the Cardiff Welsh lot would go to England for a night out and then go back. It was like, so they had those rules. So like in England you could race, but in Wales you couldn't. Yeah. So they went straight to Cheshire or Wrexham, but yeah, so it was in England, and it was again, I was very lucky, perfect day, and I was just pacing. I find lapped courses a lot more useful because instead of thinking about the mile markers, you're like, okay, it's 7 laps, get a lap done. And after about 4 laps, the guys are just saying like, keep going, just help us out, because I'm like bang on the pacing. And after 20 miles, I look down my watch. I'm like, okay, like I'm feeling good, but I haven't come all this way to not, like, I've come so far. I'm not just gonna stop and get nothing out of it. So I said to the organisers, like just before the last lap, I'm like, am I allowed to finish? Am I entered? And they said, yeah, go for it. So I looked behind and I said, like, sod this. I've taken him 23 miles. We're like, we are on it, and I'm just going. And it was my fastest lap. So I ran 2:11, and this guy he ran 2:11:37, so he missed it by 7 seconds. And they sort of blamed me, and I said to people, look, I took him 23 miles that course. But yeah, that was, and then when I crossed the line, I was like, what the hell have I just done? But yeah.
Where does it come from? You just love it, don't you?
Yeah, my parents said it was come from them, but they were never very good. They were decent, okay runners. Like, I mean, like 3 hours for a marathon, so nothing crazy or anything. But I think it actually came because even my sisters, when we were younger, we did every single sport we could. So like on a Monday, for example, you'd play football for your school, and then you would go to another football session afterwards. But living in Hong Kong, because everything's a lot closer, the transport is so easy to get around. You could play 3 different sports that day in the space and travel 10 minutes. Whereas in the UK, you just can't do it. So, and my sister as well, like she's now getting to a extremely good level.
She's mixing it up now, isn't she?
I think exactly. So I think she could run 75 minutes for half, and she used to run when she was younger, but I think it just helps because I think without even realizing, but we used to have like races in the car park and like that friendly competition. So I think without even realizing, we just push each other to the limit when we were younger, like in a friendly way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, I think it's even in Hong Kong, because of the humidity, I say to people like, you can't train it much worse than the pollution coming over from China to Hong Kong. Like, it was terrible. So we probably have some weird viruses in us, probably. So probably helping us.
That's what it is, yeah.
Strength.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Class. So what's the immediate future plans? Any races or pacing lined up? Is there any...
I'm gonna pace London this year. I'm not sure which group at the minute. And I'm doing Berlin half marathon. So I just wanna set a good time right now. Just put down a good marker. So I know I'm still building. The fitness is coming, but it's because, like you said, like last year I took so much time off. You forget how much fitness, and I had to. It was quite funny because when I started training again, the first month I could only do 2 hours of cross training that week. So I go from 15 to 20 hours of training to 2 hours a week. It was 4 days of 30 minutes of cross training, and couldn't really go hard or anything. My coach was saying, we're literally training you like a 10-year-old girl. Like, I had to train like a 10-year-old for a month almost. So you take out 3 months basically not training, it does play its toll, and not even running. So it's I can see the fitness is coming, but it's still not there. I'm still not allowed to run it every day of the week because I keep picking up like this little niggle or get a little fatigue, so I have to do like a day of cross training and 6 days of running. So we're still not there. Of course, we're making massive progress, but it's still going to take some time. So I just wanted to use this year as like set some markers, not go crazy or anything in terms of times, not blow people's minds with the times, and then next year and the year after, like, is the main thing.
Yeah, try and be patient and stay sensible.
Exactly.
Sounds like that's the
long term.
Sorry?
The patience is the hardest part for you, but it sounds of it as well, isn't it?
I generally think that having 5 weeks of doing nothing has probably helped me more than anything, because I was like just waiting. Like it was great because I saw people doing so well, but at the same time I was like, I'm losing so much here. That's probably why I had to go out, watch Reading play football, just to get annoyed, really.
It's so bad if you were going to watch Red, didn't you?
No, it was terrible, absolutely terrible.
Well, yeah. What did I say? What did you say then, Nick? Bucket list of future plans.
I would say this year, obviously, pace in London and Berlin. What's the long-term future, Jake? Would it be like try and get an Olympic?
Oh yeah, like not this year. We've pulled the plug on it completely. Like we were thinking about it, but we're like, I've seen some, like, for example, Phil Sessman. I've seen some of the sessions they do on Strava. I'm like, I need to sort of work towards that, but I just can't do that yet. Like my body cannot. I just can't push it or anything. So, but LA 2028. I want to, like, I'll say, but like I want to be there. I want to be competing top 5. I want to like not lose out there. So that's why now I want to focus on this speed stuff. I need to get my legs. Because I won't be able to go with them if they make a big spurt. The time 2:08 is very, very hard to get. But like I just feel like if I didn't do the speed work around the time, go there, I just wouldn't be able to compete. So that's the main focus now, is just getting that. That's why I've been doing so many like faster. That's why my coach really likes me doing, gives me faster stuff even during the winter, because we just need to keep that repetition up. But LA is like, that's my main goal. Like I'm putting everything into that.
That'd be a bit of a nice Olympics to say you ran at in Paris as well, wouldn't it?
I know.
Any is honest, wouldn't it? Let's be honest, any Olympics, but good. Got like a nice build this year, maybe then, and then like knuckle down and start focusing on.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I've kind of used it. Like I've done some 3K indoors. I'll do the half. I'm doing another 10K. So I'm using this year to almost to play. Like I want to do a 1500 and some. I'm using this year almost to play around with the distances. Because I just like being like at the top of the level, like the elite levels. Like a lot of these people, like for example Josh Cutt. I know he did the half marathon, but he's like, even in the winter, he has to knuckle down. The longest he probably do is a 5K. He won't really do a 10K or anything longer, like many of them anyway. So it's quite nice to have this year with no pressure on my shoulders. People aren't expecting much, and I can just play around with the different distances.
Yeah, definitely. So you spoke about the setbacks, and we spoke about obviously the stress factor, but you also, excuse my ignorance of the wording or anything, but suffered with or had or developed Red S.
Yeah.
What do you mind telling us a bit about that? What it is and how it affected you?
Yeah, of course. It's Red S, like quite simply, like it's basically just eating disorder. Like you just, and the phrase they say is like you're doing too much exercise. You're not fueling right, and I knew it was quite funny, but we were on like a night out in Cardiff in 2022 with my mates and stuff, and all of them on the night out came up to me and said like, Jake, you need to speak to someone, like, because I looked so gaunt and everything. And this was when I was injured. And I say to people, because I went to Uganda with to train with NN, and I overtrained, but it was, I found it very difficult because the first 2 weeks I was training incredibly. Like, people saw what I was capable of, but no one, I didn't really know, but no one really spoke to me about my mental health, about myself, weighing myself. Because I say to people, I was 22, a male, and I got down to 51 kilos, for example. So I was like, I was nothing. And the funny thing is, I say to people, like, the Ugandans, they actually came up to me on week 3 and said, Jake, you look too skinny. And normally, like I say to people, it's normally the other way around.
Yeah.
And they like, it was weird, but they were the first people to notice me struggling, and they were like checking up on me a lot. So the team atmosphere was amazing, but because it was tough, but like, to be brutally honest, I was the only white person in that whole town. Like, it was tough, and I can see, like, no one was racist or anything, but like, a lot of these people hadn't seen white people before. So when I would go for a run, they were staring. Like, there was no sense of where they should be. Like, they were always on you. So it gave you a bit of like that, slightly scared. And it was funny, you would, like, on a Sunday, they just cut 2 chickens' heads off. Like, that's what you're eating. Like, you see your dinner being made. Like, and it was unreal, like, most beautiful country I've been to. But that kickstarted this massively. When I was 16, I struggled with food as well. So I had to go to CAMS. I didn't get on with CAMS, but I say to people, when I didn't have a very good year at that school. I then went to college. That went better. But first year in uni, honestly, was the best year of my life, because you forget, without even noticing, I was putting on weight, getting stronger because of all the nights out. Like, you go out for foods after the night out and stuff. Like, I say that would probably saved me. That probably got me the contracts, because I actually allowed my body to get the fuel without even realising. Like, the alcohol, I know it's not the best calories, but I was actually giving my body calories without realising. And that's why I was able to get to the level, like, compete, train.
You're small as well. You've got a small frame anyway, so you've got room for them calories as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. So, like, it was brilliant. So, like, I say to people when they say, should we go to uni? I was like, do it. Like, even as a runner, I say, don't put too much tension on in the first year. Just almost enjoy all the nights out, enjoy that stuff. And it actually really, really sorted my head out in terms of food. I had no food problems or anything. Then the pressure started hitting in 2022 when my times really came down. And I sort of, because I was weighing myself every day, I saw basically I was getting quicker, I was losing weight. And it just kept going like that. Didn't speak to anyone. End of 2022, that's when someone, like, I ruined this holiday. My girlfriend and parents, we went to Lanzarote, and I was disgusting. Like, not horrible, but like, I would walk out of restaurants if the portion was too big. I was in a way bad state. And the reason I started speaking to Pippa Wolven, who's head of Red S, was my girlfriend at the time said, look, Jay, I need to get some help. I need to speak to someone. And then I was like, okay, if I push someone to that level, she didn't need any help, then I need to. I'm so surprised she's still with me. Like, I cannot believe, I like to say, like, I'm so surprised. But if I've pushed someone, made someone feel like that, I need to change. So I got in touch with Pippa, and this was in end of 2022. And yeah, then it was hard. Like, I remember I was counting my calories, and sometimes I was burning up to 4,000, and I was only letting myself have 2,000 calories. So in a week, I was 14,000 calories down.
Massive.
And I have ice cream Sunday, like, and I have like 2 like cartons of ice cream. But every Sunday, because I basically didn't allow myself to have food, I was craving it to another level. And when I finished it, I would get upset because I was like, I have to wait another week for this. Whereas now, because I've got on top of food, I'm like, so what? So what if I have it another day? So what if I miss it? And so I spoke to Pippa, and the first few weeks was tough. Like, I was just following a normal diet, but it was tough because I didn't let my body eat at certain times. I really did struggle. I actually went through a couple of stages of, you know, when you overeat almost in one successive time. Like you eat so much in a 30-minute space. I thought it's not. I forgot what it is, but it's like overeating. I went through phases of that. Felt horrible, and that's why like the 5 weeks. It was like my coach said to me like we can't train. We need to get you right headspace. I did blood test. My testosterone.
Almost like human again.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like I wasn't enjoying life. Like nothing crazy. I just wasn't happy. And the best thing I say to people is my blood for a year and a half, probably when I was running the times I did 28 flat, my testosterone was 4. And for people who don't know, back then 2 years ago, to compete as a like woman needed a testosterone score of under 5. So I say to people, I could have competed against women running the times I did for a couple of years.
That's why.
And I went down, and I went down to it was nuts. And of course, I still need to there are still things I need to improve on. But like, I've never been so happy getting a psychologist. The food now, like, even I'm now seeing glimpses of change. Like I ran my fastest ever 400 meters in a training session the other day, and that's because I've got the strength. But yeah, a lot of people. The most thing I'm happy with is a lot of male athletes don't come out about RED-S because with girls they miss their periods. For example, male athletes we don't know until it's too late, and a lot of people actually messaged me saying thank you for coming out, and I was like, it does scare me because I'm very lucky in terms of the support I have, but there's a lot of support out there who don't get anything, and and I was worried as well during the 5 weeks because I haven't seen many. Every male athlete, there aren't many, but who have suffered RED-S don't make a comeback to running really. So I was very scared. Like I was like, is this like? That's why I thought, is this done? So I kind of want to prove to people like, there's only a small few who've actually made it back to the top level. Like for example, do you know Jake Riley, the US American runner? He went to the 2016 Olympics or 2020 Olympics for the marathon. 2020, I think, suffered RED-S 2 years ago. Went back to the trials this year and competed in the trials. So he's trying to make a step up, but it's taken him years. So that's why I think people need to understand how long it will take me to get back to the very, very top level. I am making like increments to it, but to get to the very level. But I know there's like now glimpses of me. I can see myself like crap. Like when I'm back, when everything's there, I would be almost untouchable. So RED-S is it like I said, it's basically just an eating disorder. You're counting calories. I was weighing myself every single day, and I would finish a session on Tuesday night and not have dinner because I weighed myself on the Wednesday. I was getting dehydrated. I wouldn't drink water. I would have 1 bottle of water a day because the water weight in me. Like I was like, I'm gonna be too heavy, and it was stupid.
But like I said, you're 24, right?
I'm 25 now. So this was when I was literally. I just didn't speak to anyone about it. I kept it so quiet, and my parents, of course, they noticed, and they've been like, I reckon if it wasn't for them this year, I wouldn't be running. Yeah. They've been incredible, but it's like they've also known like how do you unless they come up to you and speak to you, how can you solve it? Because you don't know you can't really go at them. Like when I first started, when I was younger, of course they had a go at me, but then you can't really have a go at someone struggling because it can just spark them to not eat or spark them to do something else.
But I mean, the impression I get, you're very, very self-aware and obviously like very resilient as well, and you've used it and harnessed it. And God knows what you're going to achieve over the next couple of years now. Yeah,
that's a big thing. It's like another thing is there's a few things that still gets me. It's like I don't know if it gets to people. Like if I go out for dinner, if people say, "Oh, we'll go out for dinner," I always say yes. But it's like the calories on the menu that still gets me a bit. There's still little things like I want to go out and enjoy it, and I don't want to know what I'm eating. Yeah. Like for example, that's why I love going abroad because they don't have that sort of stuff. But and then it's about I know now I haven't weighed myself since March last year, and it's the best thing I've ever done. and I just threw them away. I was like, I don't need to. I know when I'm strong. I know when I'm weak. It's funny because I was actually saying to my Spanish tutor this morning, but I was saying like, I know when I'm too light is when I can't get over the hills around
Yeah.
here.
You just trust your body. You know your body now better than you ever have.
Exactly. And as soon as I get home and I'm like, I was too light. I like for those next days, don't overeat. I just increase something slightly because I'm like, I'm not strong enough to get over these hills, and that's how I do it. And at the end of the day, you can look at yourself in the mirror. You know when you're happy. You know when you're happy with the weight, and you don't need like a weighing scale to tell. That's the thing I've got in this last year, and this year's just about. I just don't want another injury. That's the thing. Like I keep saying to people, the way forward to get most out of you is you want to have 7 out of 10 sessions every single week instead of a 10 out of 10, and then for 2 weeks you drop out of sessions. And it's just the consistency, and that's all I need to keep going forward.
Class.
Yeah.
Before we zip off into a break, you are very, very lucky in having mine and Nikki's dream sponsors, supporters, I don't know what we would call them, with Nike. And we are both Chorus as well.
Oh, yeah.
But Nike and Chorus, that's like just class, isn't
it? It's, I mean, the Chorus watch is like the best watch I've used by a country mile. Like,
I know.
I love the track. The track mode is just, it's amazing.
No, I've said this. Like, I've had mine 4 years now, and like when I first made the jump, I was having issues with my Garmin all the time. So I was having bald guts full of it, and I seen that Kipchoge was wearing Chorus, so I thought, right, well, if it's good enough for him, and like, same, like, it's so much better. And like, nobody listens. Nobody listens. It seems to be, like more athletes getting sponsored, and
like, it's incredible. It's
in a rut with Garmin.
Yeah. What, did I interact with Garmin?
No. Like, I think more the amateur running out. Just all they know is Garmin. They don't.
I know.
Like more pros now are wearing the Chorus, like yourself, Maurice Sedel, obviously Kipchoge, and a few others.
I think what's helped is the arm heart rate monitor. I love it.
Cool. I'm thinking of getting one because it looks cool. I don't really care about my arm.
Honestly, it's awesome. It's awesome. I felt like the heart rate on the chest, it was whenever I ran like fast and got sweaty, kept coming down a bit. Whereas the one in the arm it's perfect, and it doesn't, like, even in a race, like I would sometimes wear the one on my chest, and if it got sweaty, I would have to pull it back up. Whereas the arm, it's not going to move, and it's not going to affect your running at all or anything. So it is really good.
Yeah. And Nike, good relationship. Well, it's obviously a good relationship, but that's with the NN, is it, or?
No. So I have two, like, so NN. I have a sponsor with NN and a sponsor with Nike, so they're two separate things. Yeah, Nike's class. The best thing I get is I get free hospitality tickets to Spurs, Chelsea, Palace. So me and my mates, I think we're going to watch Spurs Palace in 2 weeks. So hospitality.
It's a pretty impressive
my girlfriend,
as well,
she just the Spurs one's like a spaceship. It's the worst thing is now my girlfriend will go watch League One Reading games with me. I was like, do you want to go Cheltenham away? She was like, no chance. Because she's now gone to the hospitality of Chelsea and Spurs, and she's like, I'm not going anywhere near that.
Have a play.
Nah. That's the best thing. You go League One. I wouldn't ask for anything, but yeah, it's good, and they're so supportive. They I'm still allowed to go to London and actually get a shoe like molded for me, because I do find sometimes Nike, the one bad thing I say about them is they sometimes don't have the best easy shoe compared to the other sponsors. So I used to, when I was with sports shoes, I used to wear like ASICs like the whole time and stuff, but I've now found the Vomero for Nike unreal for me, but it's the only shoe that really, really fits me well. So it's like, it's like, I do find like all these brands now, they're getting to a phase of like, they're so regimented on making the fastest shoe. They've kind of lost the touch of the easy day shoe. Exactly. And it's like, when you think about it, like everyone wants to buy an easy day shoe. Like easy day shoes, you could make so much money from it because people need it. People are running that every day. But yeah, Nike's like, I work. So my Nike representative is called Adam, and he's an Ipswich fan, but he's a legend. Like I just messaged him like that in terms of if I need kit. He was so supportive through the whole Red Ass thing. Like he absolutely loved it. Was always there supporting me. Got me a lot of help. So it's been yeah, it's been a really, really good thing.
Excellent. Anything else, Nick, before we take a break?
No, I think we've pretty covered it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, Jake. Thank you very much, Nick.
No, that's good. That's absolutely
We'll
good.
take a break and then we'll dive back in for this or that and a couple of question answers and then wrap it up. Welcome back. We still got Jake for another couple of minutes. We're going to do this or that and then the question and answer of Instagram. So I'll pass you over to Nicky for the this and that, Nick.
Right, Jake, here we go. Track or road?
Road.
Ooh. 5K or half marathon?
Half marathon.
Half tights or shorts?
Oh, half tights now.
Good man. We're trying to convert most people. I was the same at first, like half tights now. But
no, I was the same as well.
Those Nike ones are just so nice.
They are.
A PB or race win?
Race win.
Pacing or racing?
Oh,
I think we know the answer to that from his pacing story.
I promise it's racing.
from the Vaporfly or Alpha Fly?
Oh, Vaporfly.
And last one, you mentioned him earlier. Jakob or Josh? Seems they're having a bit of beef lately, which I
love it. I love it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I think Josh. I like Josh.
They were the UK, is it?
Yeah, I like Josh.
Yeah, I like them both. Like, they're both great personalities for the sport.
I think he needs more. Like, I'm so tempted to because I've messaged like Conor Mantz a few times. I'm so tempted just to start some random beef
do it like
now.
WWE of running. Just
exactly.
Exactly.
If we're gonna go into a race together, I'm just gonna start something and just be like, look, let's get this going.
If you want to take a shot at someone now, we can clip it for the pod and then we can get it out there. It's fine. There we are.
That's all I got.
Couple of Q&As then. First up, who was your inspiration as a child? Did you have a running inspiration or rugby, football, any inspiration or heroes as a child?
In football, in running, it was Bekele. Always looked up to him. And then when I raced him at Big Half, that was crazy. Like, absolutely crazy. Then I found out because we part of the same global sports communication, and the other week, literally 4 months ago, we were in the same, like, where we stay, and he never came out of his room to talk to anyone, so my thoughts on him went downhill a little. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
What are you Reading? You're a big Reading fan?
Yeah, massive Reading fan.
Must have been like Kevin Doyle heroes when you started, was it?
It was Reading basically. Our best team was when we had the Republic of Ireland basically in our team, like Shep Long.
When was on Under the Cosh the other? Do you listen to the Under Cosh podcast?
No,
one of the old Reading boys was on it talking about when they had all the Republic of Ireland. I can't remember which one.
Oh, it was so funny. It's that I looked up to them a lot, to be honest. Like those,
Stephen Hunt,
like because they were just Stephen Hunt, Noel Hunt, Steve Sidwell, for example, James Harper. It was like I think it was Dave Kitts. It was like just all those players. I just really,
they were Prem-men as well, weren't they?
Exactly. It's just like it was funny because in Hong Kong, because we're like they're 8 hours ahead. I would wake up right before school, check on BBC Sport what was the score, and it was like it either made or broke my day. But it was like
how Reading? How Reading? Are you from Reading? Like, yeah.
Nah. So my dad is a bit of a master, but my dad went to because my dad's mum lives in Reading, so he went to Reading School for years. But he actually supported QPR, who were actually doing quite well. Went to a Reading game, who were in the 4th league, and was like, I need a transfer. And that's how, and I just followed him. He kept buying me shirts. I have my name on a brick on the stadium. So, so it's quite funny. Yeah, well, they aren't, I must say though, the Reading fans, they're a bunch of like 16, 17-year-old kids who think they're the biggest,
everywhere
the hardest.
Now.
Honestly, they're not very nice.
Nicky's a Cardiff fan as well, and you see them outside. They'll get the badge in now as well, isn't it?
The Reading fans there, they're a bit horrible, I'd say. They're not very nice.
We've all got them.
Yeah.
Question we have for all of our guests every single time without a fail. I don't know if you know where My Stake is. That's where me and Nikki are from. But My Stake Park Run, you know, what date is your visit to My Stake Park Run? Do you park run at all, Jake? Or?
I love parkrun, and we've actually had this discussion about, like, you know, the whole, like, taking down the records and everything.
We spoke about that before
And
you
it's
came on,
like-
because they've taken them off the website now, haven't they?
Yeah, because you know that Yuchi, I can't even say her last name, the marathon girl for Britain. She went on about it because a lot of transgender men were taking the woman records.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, her frustration, but, like, it's so easy to... So my dad set up a parkrun down in Seaton, and he's like, I don't want to take off the record. Like, it makes people want to come, like, chase down, go. Like, for a 16, 17-year-old kid who wants to break 17 to get onto the list is, like, that's their dream. Like, they want to be on that list. Or a girl, for example, breaking 20 for the first time is amazing. Like, when my girlfriend broke 20 for the first time, saw her name on the list, she was buzzing. And it's like, it's part, like, you lose that. It's not going anywhere. All they needed to do was basically make a separate column for, say, okay, non-whatever, or like non-man, non-woman. And I must admit, it's decreased the, like, I don't know if many of the top guys will go now, like, because that's the thing. When I want to go to parkrun, I want to see what their CR is. I like that. It's that competitive sort of in me.
Yeah.
And I hope some parkruns still keep it, like, on their, like, they know what their course record is, because I'm definitely doing that one. My parents have actually completed the A to Z. You know, you can complete a parkrun every letter, so they've completed that. So I might have to get them to Maesteg again because they want to go exploring anyway. But I want to know what the course record is there, so I can go for it. Is it down?
My stake is 15:29. Tom Marshall.
Oh. Yeah, I'll definitely have to do that one. He used to train me back in the day.
Times it for Reading away at Cardiff. Parkrun in the morning, Reading away.
I know. I need to go because some of my mates, Paul Graham and Piers, they're massive Cardiff fans, and they have home season tickets, and they want me to go to that one. But, like, yeah, I went to Swansea Reading, Swansea away, Swansea at home, so that was quite cool.
Down at Liberty.
Yeah, that's it.
I can see that from my window. I can see that when the game's on. I can, like, remember the Champions League advert when the light. It's like a worse version of that because it's the Liberty, not a Champions League game. But yeah, I can see it out my window. The light kind of lights up the sky a little bit, like a bat signal, I guess.
Yeah, that's a cool. I like that stadium. That's really cool, actually.
Nicky's not happy with that. Socklets or normal socks, and it's got brackets toe gloves. So I guess that's what socklets are, is it?
Are they just socks
with fingers?
Like,
yeah, I did buy some, actually. I bought some. I was so weird. They are the weirdest thing in the world. I went, you know, like TikTok, you know, when you're scrolling down, I know I'm 25 on TikTok, but scrolling down and there's that TikTok shop buy, and they were terrible. Absolutely. But I think they weren't the running version, so they were like these, they had like a smiley face on it as well. It was terrible. But, like, yeah, socks. I'll just say socks. I don't know. I don't have the finger socks, the whatever.
And finally, what did you have on your pancakes this week?
Oh, so I didn't actually have them on Tuesday. I had them Wednesday. Peanut butter, Biscoff, banana, and Nutella, all in one.
Good choice.
All the whole lot.
Jake, it has been fantastic to have you on. I've really enjoyed some great stories, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can do over the next couple of years as well. We've got last week or the week before, we've got Derry Griffiths running for Olympic time this weekend in Seville as well. So hopefully we'll be keeping an eye on you soon enough as well.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Derry's training. He's running fast at the minute, so I hope all the best.
Yeah, I wouldn't try and take Swansea parkrun record off him if I was you. That's quite low, isn't it, Nick?
That's quick, isn't it? 14:10 or something, isn't it? 14 something. It's quick.
No 14 done there, yeah. But yeah, so it's been great having on, Jake. Thanks for your time and appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Well, next year and on beyond.
Yes, thank you.
Cheers.
Nick?
Yeah, that's it for this week from us, and we will see you on the start line somewhere soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Right, just bear with us a minute.
Cheers, Jake, for that.
Jake.
That's totally fine.
That just saves it now.